Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
Unlike the other supplies, the stone requires a once-off lump sum of 4,000 groschen. You can bargain the stone mason down to 3,000, but if you're unable to pay now, you'll have to pay the full 4,000 when you come back.
So Divish has decided to rebuild Pribyslavitz, and he's entrusted me to take charge, along with his locator.
Aha, so it's you. I heard about Sir Divish's plans. What is it you need, then?
Well, we've started with the reconstruction work, but we need more than just timber.
You need stone for the construction?
Exactly. And for repairing the church.
Well now, you're really not doing things by halves, are you? The thing is, though, we're already working flat out supplying stone for the monastery construction in Sasau. I can't cut back on their supplies. Sir Divish wouldn't be at all pleased.
But I really need that stone.
Well, I suppose I could try and hire a few more quarrymen to increase production. But we can't transport it. Even Sasau sends their own wagon here. Have you got someone to carry the stone?
I've got my own merchant. He'll take care of it with his hired hands.
Splendid. So let's talk about the price.
The stone is for Sir Divish. It's for a village he wants to rebuild as quickly as possible. I doubt he'd take it well that the overseer of his own quarry is overcharging him for it.
Well, you have a point. I'll take that into account in the price.
That's better.
Excellent. We'll start sending the stone as soon as your merchant gets here.
The new Amorous at Pribyslavitz is looking good, and Zach's finding things to his liking.
Hey, Henry's come to see us.
How do you like working for us?
The workshop is as good as any, Master Bailiff. You're doing a fine job with this place.
Unfortunately, not everything is smelling of flowers.
We have a problem with water. That is, with the stream. With the, use of the stream.
The stream? What seems to be the trouble?
Sir, they won't let me have a shit.
What's that?
Your locator here won't let people go for a shit.
God give me strength.
Master Locator, would you be so kind as to cast some light on the matter?
I never forbade anyone to defecate. It's not something that can be prohibited anyway.
You did so.
All I asked was that people did their business further downstream. After all, we don't want our water supply contaminated. It could cause disease.
What kind of disease?
Digestive disorders, fever, even death.
Ah, what a load of nonsense. We always poured our shit out right there on the road. They even do that in Prague, for what I've heard. What else would they do with it?
Is it true about Prague?
Admittedly, in many cases, yes. But often there's no other option. The wealthier citizens have a latrine in their courtyard which they empty out whenever necessary. The common folk do empty their chamber pots on the streets.
See now.
But it's also said that if the Turks ever try to attack Prague, it's the stink that will hold them back, not the walls.
What do you suggest, Master Marius?
Let the people answer the call of nature at least 100 feet downstream from the village.
What? That far? What if I get the runs? I'd shit myself before getting there.
I've decided. Defecating will only be allowed at least 150 feet from the village. Anyone caught infringing this decree will get 10 lashes of the cane.
What? That's nearly as much as for stealing.
A strict decree, I admit. But it's for the common good.
Well, at least we have permission to go and shit again. I'll go and tell the fellas we can go to the stream. It's been a tough few days.
You mean you haven't been since... No, don't say it. I don't even want to know.
Henry needs something to wash down the taste of that judgment, so it's high time to build a tavern and keep the town buzzing along.
No, we don't have a tavern here yet. People need to wash the dust down after a hard day's work.
The tavern is well equipped to handle a large clientele, and spacious enough for extra facilities. Now the town is starting to resemble the bustling town that Scarlet used to be. But a tavern must also brew its own beer to be worthy of the label.
The tavern could have its own brewery. Then we'll have fresher ale and fatter profits.
The new brew is appropriately bitter yet sweet. A good reflection of Henry's and new previous arbiters' rebirth from the ashes of their past. Unfortunately, disaster has struck.
Bad news, I'm afraid, Master Bailiff. Very bad news.
That makes a change. Well, out with it. What happened?
2 wagons that were on the way here with grain and fodder supplies were ambushed by a band of Cumans. The wagoners escaped by the skin of their teeth, but the supplies are gone.
Ugh, damn it. That is bad news.
Worse than bad. Those were supplies for the whole year, and we won't be able to replace them. Things are hard enough as it is. Sedivish had to lower his quota for Townburg just to let us have it.
So we've no grain for the baker, no fodder for the stables?
I'm afraid not, Henry. We're left with only 2 options. One as bad as the other. Either we can go cap in hand asking for more, and look like incompetent fools. And anyway, we'd be lucky to get any.
Not too appealing, I must say. And the second option?
There's still a few sacks of grain in the labourers' camp, but they bought it themselves. We could requisition it, but it would make us rather unpopular. Not just with them. It's for you to decide as bailiff.
Well, we'll requisition whatever supplies are here for the good of all. Folk will just have to tighten their belts.
I fear that would provoke an uprising.
It can't be helped. We'll just have to convince them it's for the common good.
It's unfortunate, but if there's grain then it must be used, rather than gambling that the lords will be able to spare some of their own. Despite promises to make up the cost of the grain many times over, the refugees are not impressed and give him the cold shoulder. This incident really does drive home to Henry the weakness of the town. Clearly the bandits wouldn't have dared strike if New Privoslavitz had a garrison of its own.
Mandrake roots taken straight from the gallows at midnight. Ah, my dear apprentice, how happy I am to see you.
So, it all worked out then?
Like a dream. I didn't sell half as much in Sasau.
That's good news. Now, about that thing you promised me.
Your well-deserved reward, certainly. Here you have it. Henry, what have you done?
What do you mean? I did what you asked.
Didn't you overdo it a bit?
I don't know, why?
Because I was left with nothing. They descended on me like a plague of locusts and made off with everything I had.
But that's a good thing, isn't it?
I'm not saying it's not. Just whether you didn't get a little carried away.
Well, if I did, it was only out of loyalty to my esteemed master. What will you do now?
I could go now. I've coin enough, but I'll wait a while before moving on.
Why? I thought you didn't want to stay too close to Sasau for long.
But what if you needed my help?
Indeed. How could I forget all you've done for me? Well, at least I'll know where to find you. I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help. Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one. The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed. and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect. Goodbye.
Never mind that the Pope isn't supposed to have a worry about impotence.
Are you ready, Sir Hans?
Henry, something's gone wrong.
Open up. I'm not going to talk to the door.
That potion tasted rather odd, and now I have a feeling my face is broken out. How do I look?
No offence, sir, but you gave me quite a fright. It looks as though you've slept with your head inside a wasp's nest.
God's holy breeches, I knew it! And it's nearly time for my rendezvous with Karolina. What am I going to do?
You just sit tight, and I'll go and find you some antidote.
All right. But hurry, Henry. I can't wait any longer.
The best cure for this kind of thing is marigold decoction. I can get you that right away. I've got a remedy for you.
About time. Give it here. As soon as I'm healed, we'll go. It's gone! I'm as gorgeous as before. Let's go! Tell me, Henry, how many girls have you had in your life? If you've had any at all, that is.
Well, there's been a few, but I'm sure I can't compare with you.
Ha! Very true. One day plays will be written about my amorous adventures.
Comedies or tragedies?
That might depend on how things go tonight.
God save you, Henry.
There's another very pretty girl living in this house here, but she's already got a suitor.
And when has that ever bothered you?
Since the time her fellow threw me headfirst into a dung heap and kicked my arse for good measure.
It seems your future subjects don't hesitate to take a stick to you when it comes to minding their womenfolk.
I doubt he would have done it if he recognized me. I was, incognito. We're almost there. You'll hide behind a gravestone or in the bushes and don't budge from there. Otherwise you might scare her off.
Hide, Henry. Time to get started.
How do you know it's her who will come out and not someone else?
She got the letter and necklace, didn't she? She knows that that is, her secret admirer is coming.
And what am I supposed to do?
What do you think, dolt? Prompt me from that book of poetry.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Your most ardent admirer, fair maid.
Uh-huh. And do you have a name?
What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would still be a flower, wouldn't it?
Start.
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Gentle night, why linger on? I yearn thus for my love so long. Without her words to still my breast, who shall set my soul to rest?
Gentle knight, why linger on? I earned this from my love so long. Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
No! And now my heart in sorrow dwells, from melancholic pining swells, since I, alas, was forced to part from the mistress of my heart.
I know my horses sort of well. Some alcohol from 9 to 12. Seems I always have whores apart from the mistress of my heart.
Psst! What on earth are you saying?
What's that hissing?
It's, a feral goose here in the bushes.
Ah, Lord, let me not wait in vain. I long to see my love again. O gentle sir, be of good cheer. I shall not cling to another dear.
Landlord, let me not wait in vain. I long to sing and laugh again. O gentle sir, get off your chair. I shall not bring you another beer.
Jesus, Henry! What kind of yokel nonsense are you babbling?
Me? You're the one who's babbling?
You're an odd one. I've never heard such peculiar poetry in my life. Where on earth did you come up with it?
It's the latest fashion in France.
You've done enough harm. Better shut up and leave it to me.
The poetry doesn't exactly put the great bards to shame, but its exotic Frenchness seems to have its desired effect.
Father is coming! Hide!
Who was that talking? If it's some dandy again, I'll gut him with my filleting knife.
I didn't hear anyone.
Did you hear what he said? No, I have a bad feeling about this, Hans. I think we should...
Are you still there?
Still here, my love. How could I have apart from you?
Father's coming. He'll kill you.
He will not. Because it'll never cross his mind where I'll be. Henry, it's time for me to claim my prize. Whatever happens, cover my back.
There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
Buy me time.
You got some explaining to do, you bastard!
Ah! What are you doing here?
Oh, my darling.
Get out! Get out or I'll call Papa!
My sweet. How can you be so cruel?
What do you think you're doing? Climbing in here, uninvited?
Ma chérie, I came to court you.
Then go and court me from the courtyard.
What? You don't love me?
No, and I told you, get out!
Well, how about a kiss at least?
Out, out, out!
How did it go with Karolina, Sans?
It was a disaster, Henry. A disaster.
How come? Didn't your recitation do the trick?
What kind of nonsense were you feeding me? Karolina thought I was a thief breaking in to rob the place. I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. She told me to get out or she'd call her father.
Oh, you're lucky I managed to keep him busy. Only now he thinks I'm the village idiot.
Well, thanks for that, at least. Anyway, Karolina slammed the door in my face, so I suppose I'll have to look elsewhere for the love of my life.
Well, back to writing love letters.
To hell with love letters. Imagine. That silly goose couldn't even read.
Ah, shame. She missed out on something very rare.
Indeed. Here's the letter, Henry. Read it. At least you're capable of appreciating my literary talent. Read and learn from a poet.
There you are, you seducer! Now you'll see how a butcher protects his daughter's honor.
What are you after, you bastard, sneaking around an honest citizen's house in the dark?
I went to mourn over the grave of my great-grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Then what are you doing right beneath my window, eh?
Well, the question is, why are you trampling on great-granny's grave, eh?
Enough of your horse shit. One more word, and I'll have you.
You really came.
How could I not, my dearest?
Not so fast, Prince Charming. But, since you're here...
Hey, what was that?
What was what?
That noise. I'm sure I heard a strange noise.
We're here in the cemetery. Maybe restless spirits, what do you reckon?
I'd swear it came from the window of my own house.
What's that got to do with me?
Someone's been creeping around after my daughter. I come out, and I find you here. Quite a coincidence, eh? So, out with the truth.
You're quite mistaken. I've never laid eyes on your daughter, and if she looks anything like you, I'd rather keep it that way.
Why, you fucking...
Mon petit lapin.
There's a lace here. Untie it.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Are you all right? It seems to me you're hearing things other folk can't hear. That's not good.
You're saying I'm hearing voices in my head?
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sent Euphrosyne of Polotsk heard voices too, and she founded a monastery and churches and things.
I heard voices too. Well, could have been voices. I wouldn't swear to it though.
Look, fellas, I was standing right here and I didn't hear a thing. Do you take me for a madman?
Whatever you are, I want to know what you're doing under my daughter's window and who was talking to her. I heard it clear as day.
Good neighbour, it can't be denied that old age dulls a man's ears. I'm here alone, praying for the souls of the good people resting in the cemetery. I've nothing to do with your daughter.
That voice sounded different to yours, though. But where did he get to? You must have seen him. Unless you're covering for him.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Jasem skutni hori kodelnikov sin.
What the fuck are you playing at? My patience is wearing thin.
Jasem skutni hori kodelnikov sin.
Jesus, stop your damn screeching!
Nakopech kustala, plakala, plakala. Jezu, Jezu, Maria, volala, volala. Jezu, Jezu, Maria, Jezu, Jemine. Buddha letu chlapec nebone. Buddha letu chlapec nebone.
Christ almighty. Let's go, fellas. This one ain't right in the head. The guards will have him for screeching after curfew. Let's not get mixed up in it. But if I ever see you here again, I'll beat some sense into your idiot skull.
And with a bit of fast talk and singing, Henry's able to keep the butcher's attention long enough for Sir Hans to complete his delivery.
You? One warning wasn't enough for you. Fuck off.
Henry, it was the most wonderful night of my life. She was completely entranced by my courting. I hardly had to touch her, and she melted in my arms. And then she took me to paradise. It was glorious. It was sublime. Thanks, in part, to you, my faithful henchman and messenger of love. You've earned your reward.
It was an honour, Sir Hans. When are you going to see her again?
Oh, I'm not going to see her again. All beautiful things must come to an end, and, after all, I am a nobleman, and she is the butcher's daughter.
Well, that's how it ends, with the love of your life. After the secret gifts, the letters, the intrigues, reciting poetry in the moonlight.
My eloquence was wasted on her, Henry. Imagine, the silly cow couldn't even read. She returned the letter to me unopened.
And thus ends the tale of Sir Hans's amorous adventures. All's well that ends well, right? But sometimes actions have consequences.
And well, I'm sure we can come to some agreement, your lordship.
Well, bearing in mind, Master Butcher, that we have nothing to come to agreement about yet.
Well, yes, sir. No, sir. Well, I thought I ought to let you know what happened. My daughter's good name could be dragged through the mud. And his young lordship's too, of course.
Well, only if she should find us... Only if she should find herself with a permanent reminder.
Oh, well, that could happen yet, sir, couldn't it? If her belly starts to grow. You know how word gets around, and, well, folk would assume that Sir Hans is the father. Even if some other young fellow was to come along in the meanwhile, and, well, we already know, the girl can't be watched.
Are you trying to blackmail me? Have you forgotten that I am the lord of this town, and that you are nothing but a stinking butcher?
Oh, God forbid, sir. I'm just thinking of his young lordship's reputation, and my girl's. But, of course, if his young lordship was to recognize the bastard as his own, and pay for his upbringing...
You can thank your lucky stars you're the only butcher around here. Otherwise, I'd have you out on your ear this very day.
But, sir, I'm only...
Here, take this, you damn scoundrel, and never show your face here again.
Thank you, your lordship. I'm sure this will be enough. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
Blasted fool capon. I'll wring his neck. I'll have his balls on a platter!
It may well be that Sir Hans will have a Henry of his own a few decades down the line. But that's a matter for the future. All that romance reminds Henry of Theresa. Off he goes to the bath. It wouldn't do to have her think that Sir Hans's mask was from another lady.
Henry, do you think sometimes about how it was in Scarlet?
How do you mean?
Back then, before everything. When I was taking care of the hens at the mill, taking Sammy his lunch at the mines.
It seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
In the summer, I always took my shoes off and walked barefoot the whole way. And when it was really hot, I'd stop at the stream and stick my feet in the water for a while.
I had to make do with the tub in the yard when I was helping Pa in the forge. You know how hot it gets there in the summer? I always sneaked off if I could, even though I knew Pa would tan my hide when he came home.
I remember that. He was always looking for you all over the village, but you'd be hiding somewhere with Fritz and Matthew. Me and the other girls used to follow you secretly, but we never told your pa where you were. And when he gave up looking for you, the three of you would go off to the woods to beat each other with sticks.
Yeah, we were playing at being knights. Jesus, I used to get black and blue from it. I can still feel some of the blows that big ox Fritz landed on me.
No more playing at nights. Now you're practically a real one.
Indeed, as you say, young damsel, I am the very soul of knighthood.
The noble Sir Henry of Balderdash, the very picture of manhood. Pray, what is your coat of arms, Sir Knight? A beer tankard? A pair of crossed chicken legs?
Such wicked words, you shameless wench. Being a knight is not about symbols, but about deeds. But my coat of arms should be a bolt of lightning above a stable.
I thought a knight was supposed to prove his manhood a bit differently than you with your lightning in the stable. And besides, it is unfitting to talk of such matters, lest there be complaints at the court that Sir Knight is wasting his strength on dallying with village girls.
Forgive me, fair maid. Love for you has clouded my reason.
Henry, you really are a donkey.
There's also the matter of getting a specialist tavern keeper for new purpose targets. And who better than Adam, the brother of Bianca, and son of the tavern keeper at Old Scallops.
Adam, listen. You're a friendly fella, and you know a thing or two about the tavern trade. How would you like to be my innkeeper?
What? Me? Innkeeper?
I've got a tavern in Pribyslavitz. Sir Divish put me in charge of building new homes there, but who wants to live in a village without an alehouse? And someone's got to run it.
Well, Henry, I've always wanted to save a bit of coin and open my own tavern. To continue the family tradition, like Pa and Bianca. And now you come to me with this offer.
I know. That's exactly why I came to you.
Thank you. And you can count on me to keep the place full to bursting.
But despite cutting off their source of coin, it seems that the bandits are not gone, and so Radzik is organizing a band of mercenaries to help clean up the problem. Of course, he wants Henry to help guide them. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. See you soon.